Hello and welcome to another episode of Hyosung Talk, where we explore trends, technologies, and innovations shaping the future of banking. My name is Wes Harmontrout, Senior Director of Product Solution Engineering at Hyosung Americas, and my colleague Tristan Charles, who's joining me today to talk about our topic of the day. Today's topic, we're going to talk about something that's very important to the banking industry, and that's going to be cash deserts. Well, with digital banking and contactless payments, transforming how we pay for everything, from goods and services, groceries, gas, etc. Cash still remains a vital part of everyday life. As financial institutions continue to optimize the branch networks, the challenge isn't getting people cash, but it's how we're making sure that they have access to it conveniently.
So Wes, the term cash deserts, that's a term that, us in the banking industry understand, in the FI industry, but what is a cash desert and how have they started showing up more across the landscape in FI?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. So with cash deserts, it just really means a location where you may not be able to gain access to cash. So, this could be rural areas, this could be urban areas that may have, fallen into a little bit of disarray, more areas where you have some old folks homes, etc., where maybe that access to cash just isn't as readily available. So lack of machines in an area is definitely where you start to see a cash desert.
So obviously with the branch network, shifting and expanding and contracting in current FI landscape, why are these cash deserts important to FIs and banks at this point in time?
Absolutely. So cash deserts really just provide an opportunity. It's an opportunity for our value added resellers and our partners and NFI to really gain traction in the space because there's a need, right? So you're there are people that need this money. They need to get access to it because they need those goods. Because cash is still going to be king for quite some time. So having that access to that is necessary, and that's just an open opportunity. It's a low hanging fruit opportunity. So that's really where that comes from.
Yeah, yeah. And in my role, at the company, I do a lot of market research and looking at what I'm seeing in the market. It's cash is still important in the market. There's still 14% of payments are still made with cash in cash services currently. So I see what you're saying. So these areas where people can't access that cash, that's an opportunity for those FIs to come in there. And how are they taking advantage of that opportunity through different technologies?
Absolutely. I mean, as you look at it, the tapping of your phone and cards and things of that sort, while convenient, there are a lot of people that just have some trust issues. And so they want to make sure that, if I have this dollar bill in hand and I can get it to you, that's the important piece. That's the key, because at the end of the day, it's all about confidence, and that's going to build their confidence when they see, that machine in the area that's got, your name on it, and it's something that they can start trusting, and they can see that you're doing the right things to put that into that area. And it just absolutely helps make sure that they have access to that cash and they can make their payments and be successful.
And yep. And what are some of the technologies that Hyosung is providing that can help the FIs service these cash deserts?
Absolutely. So, a lot of it comes down to security, right? So we're providing options that are more secure. We're providing, send three safes in our island machines, and in our more retail level machines, we're still putting stronger safes. We're putting better protections in, making sure that the cards can't be skimmed, but that they can use the tap type functions that, uses biometrics within their phone or their card to make sure that they are having a secure transaction, and they do not feel like their card information is going to be lost and they're going to be depleted of all of their funds. And so by having that security added to everything that we do here at Hyosung, that's absolutely the key.
Yep. Yeah, security is definitely key across the FI world, and that I know security concerns have helped to create some of these cash deserts that we're seeing in the market currently. When I'm looking at the overall market, banks are starting to strategize on ways to attack these cash deserts to gain access to these customers, because it's an opportunity for them, right, to build their deposit bases, build their customer relationships. One of the things that I've seen is ITM deployments. Is that something you see as a good way to attack these cash deserts?
Well, absolutely. When you start looking at a cash desert, it's all about people and the placement of machines. An ITM or interactive teller machine, what that's really doing is allowing for less employees to be able to reach out to more people when they need it, because not everybody's going to need a one-to-one interaction, but they do need an interaction when they need it. So the ITM is the perfect opportunity to bring that ability to the underserved and in these cash deserts, to make sure that not only can they just get a few dollars out of this account, but they can have additional functionality. They can make sure that, hey, something's going on with this, and I want to make sure it's applied to my home loan or my car loan. So ITMs are just vital for that cash desert area.
One of the other technologies that we are coming out with that is our digital desk. Do you see that fitting into some sort of strategy for FIs and how they could attack these less served areas?
Absolutely. So the digital desk, think about sitting across from somebody, just kind of face to face, making sure that the interaction is a little bit more natural. And the digital desk does exactly that. It gives you a natural look and feel. You can connect with, some headphones if you are concerned. A lot of times these are put into a smaller room, but you do have someone almost physically your same size across from you. You can look them in the eye and say, can I trust you to be safe with my money? Can I trust you? And then I'm going to sign this loan document. I'm going to do all these things. But the nice thing is, for the FI, they don't have to have 3 loan specialists across 3 different branches. They have 1 loan specialist that can service 3 branches or more very cleanly and securely. And it's just a great benefit.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that along with our ITM solution as a great way to for FIs to kind of do that hub and spoke model, where they have their centralized location that they have their main bankers, their main everybody, but they can access those cashless areas, those areas where that opportunity is, where there's underserved communities, where those the communities that don't have access to that cash but need access to that cash. So, able to put those 2 technologies in a very small footprint, staff it with maybe 1 person, just as a regular concierge, but be able to serve that community through that way. So I think those two technologies tie great into how we can take care of these cash deserts as overall.
1000% agree.
Yeah. So as FIs kind of expand into these areas, Wes, do you see any? I mean, obviously the security, the access to the person-to-person interaction. Is there any other pieces of this puzzle that we're missing at this point? Or do you think that between those 2 technologies and possibly a TCR at the branch, able to move that, do you see anything else that these cash deserts could use to gain more access?
Absolutely. So there's additional functions to make sure that, from an FI standpoint, that they know where all of their cash is. So because that's kind of the key, right? You have to know where everything's at. So are you servicing your customer? Check, we can do that. But where is that cash? Who is moving it? Where did it go? And so we have some back end, Blueverse Teller for the interactive teller piece, but then we have Blueverse Fleet, so that you can make sure that you're managing the device from, what's the firmware and service provider and all the other protection layers. But you can also see what's the status to all your cassettes, and making sure that that you have plenty of cash in that machine. But based on the area, do I have too much in here? Do I need to move that out? And so we also provide a Blueverse Cash, which is going to be released very soon, but that will allow you to move cash out of a machine and into another machine. So you could take it from an ATM and put it in a TCR in the same branch, but it's a little bit more secure or more purposeful in another area. So that way you don't have excess cash sitting in the ATM and excess cash sitting in a TCR. When in those cash deserts, it may not be the best option. So it's really about managing it to that level. And those are the things that we're absolutely moving.
Yeah. I mean, when I'm looking at market research, a common theme on FIs of all sizes, reducing those operation costs, reducing that excess cash in the branches, and and that fits in perfectly with it with that Blueverse Cash. Another product I hear about a lot in the market is ATM as a service. I know that's more of a service offering, but do you feel like that fits into these cash deserts in a good way?
Oh, it really does. And the good thing with ATM as a service is it reduces your liability. It reduces, your overall overhead, but it puts it back on us. So for, a reasonable cost overall, we can start putting machines into areas where you just don't want to manage it. It's just a lot of hassle. It's a lot of extra work. Let Yosom take care of it. We'll take care of it for you. We'll put the machines out. We take care of the networks. We got, all the security and the security cameras, and we take care of the cash. I mean, ATM as a service, you're putting it out there, slapping your name on it, and then letting it be successful and then making it work for you and your customers. It's just a deal after a deal.
Yeah, I agree completely. I feel like ATM as a service, along with our technology, is a great way for FIs to access these cash deserts and gain those opportunities overall without having to do a high-end investment at the start.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because those, the cost from, product placement, rigging, insurance, all of the things that come down to having a machine sitting on, a few square foot, it gets expensive. And sometimes that's just, a deal breaker for a lot of FIs. So by having the ATM as a service, they can stretch it out a little bit, and we are taking on that task for them.
And they don't have to have the extra operations people to manage it in the background, right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So, we're happy to take that on because it helps promote our brand, but it also, more importantly, resolves the cash desert situation where, we just have a machine that's not available to a customer who really needs it. So by doing the ATM as a service, it's a great option.
To summarize, I feel like obviously, cash deserts, they're a thing right now. It's something that FIs are currently attacking in the market, because cash does still play a critical role overall. And like I said, it's still 14% of payments are currently made with cash in hand. And there is a large underbanked population in the United States. And so these are a critical market that these FIs can attack that has been missed in the past years. And our technology that we have available now, with our solutions as ATM as a service, Blueverse Cash, Digital Desk, ITMs, FIs have the opportunity to attack these and gain those opportunities where, these were missed in the past. So I think that's great. Thank you for joining us on Hyosung Talk today to discuss cash deserts. This is a very important market currently in today's FI landscape. And if you'd like to learn more about it, please visit our website, hyosungamericas.com, and view the full blog. And thank you again for joining us on Hyosung Talk, and we look forward to seeing you next time.